Born on Vendémiaire IV, year 3, in 1794 in Juillac, Corrèze, Jeanne is the eldest of the 4 children of Pierre Villepreux, a village policeman who was also a shoemaker. The little girl keeps herds, but also takes time to learn how to read and write. In 1812, Jeanne leaves her village and goes to Paris, where a relative has a job for her. As the girl is underage, she travels with a cousin who takes his flock to a slaughterhouse, and they go on foot. A 480-kilometer trip. No rush. And good shoes required. Everything goes well until they reach Orléans, where Jeanne's cousin tries to abuse her. The young woman escapes and goes to the police station, where she has to justify her aggression. The doubtful officer puts Jeanne in a monastery, and thanks to a moving letter sent to Juillac, the girl can complete her journey to Paris. Being delayed, Jeanne discovers that the job she was supposed to get is not available anymore. Showing her talent as an embroiderer, Villepreux is hired by Germain et Huchez, a famous fashion house, where she quickly sparkles. In 1816, Jeanne is entrusted with the delicate task of making the wedding dress of Marie-Caroline de Bourbon, the daughter of the King of the Two Sicilies, who is about to marry the Duke of Berry. Let me tell you that the tabloid potential of this ceremony easily reaches the Kate and William level. The meticulous work of Villepreux impresses the Lord, one of the wedding guests, James Power. And as Jeanne impresses him too, they leave for Messina, Italy, where they get married in 1818. More used to country life and to long walks, Jeanne has to fit into her new social life. But the young woman is more interested in studying than in partying, and she spends most of her time reading and learning foreign languages rather than going to social events. Jeanne can quickly speak English, her husband's language, Italian, which she uses daily, as well as Latin and Greek. She is fond of natural sciences, and she discovers Sicily on foot in order to describe all its treasures, historical, cultural or natural. Villepreux-Power will write several books about the island, including the famous Itinerario della Sicilia riguardante tutti i rami di storia naturale e parecchi di antichità che essa contiene, published in 1839, and the Guida per la Sicilia, published in 1842. Jeanne also collects samples of plants and animals, but her collection will be lost in 1838 during a shipwreck. Unlike most of the biologists of that time, who just look at things, Jeanne tries to understand the natural phenomena. She studies the argonaut, a mysterious mollusk for the 19th century scientists. 2 questions. Does the argonaut produce its own shell, and how does it reproduce? Before Villepreux works on the argonaut issue, it was admitted that it lives in abundant shells, like hermit crabs, and that its population was composed of females only. Not convinced by these conclusions, Jeanne thinks about a way to observe the growth and the reproduction of the argonaut. She creates in 1832 the Power cages, which goes in 3 versions. A wooden cage with anchors that can be put in open sea, a glass and metal structure that can be immersed in seawater and brought back to the laboratory, a glass container filled with water and kept in the study cabinet. Jeanne Villepreux is the inventor of the aquarium. Her Power cages allow Jeanne to make many observations on the argonauts and to prove that they make their own shells and that they are male and female specimens. Villepreux sends the result of her studies to several academies, even if her credibility is called into question. In 1839, she becomes an official correspondent of the Zoological Society of London. During her scientific career, Villepreux will join 18 European academies, a record for a woman in the 19th century. When the Villepreux-Power moved back to Paris in 1842, Jeanne leaves the scientific world because the loss of her collections 4 years earlier has deeply affected her. Jeanne spends her time painting and writing books about argonauts and astronomy. In 1870, she flies the siege of Paris and returns to Juillac, where she dies a year later. What remains of Jeanne Villepreux, apart from plastic divers at the bottom of the aquariums? First of all, the beginnings of scientific experimentation, but also important scientific works. And a street of Limoges bears her name, as well as a patera on Venus.